Hello, Southwest Florida. Welcome to Lee Pitts Live. We're so thrilled and excited that you have tuned in, and I think you're going to be fascinated as well. We have a fabulous show here today. Going to get a chance to talk to Ava Collier, the CEO of SoulPho Photography, LLC, is in the house. Let's bump you in, Ava. Good to get you on the show.
So glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. In fact, the first time I remember seeing you, I know I've seen you before, but when I remember when I was speaking about you is when you were at my Person of the Year Awards.
Yes.
And you came up to me so politely. I saw had great home training.
Yes.
And you said, is it okay if I take some pictures?
Yes, my mom has taught me well.
And I was like, this little girl is so nice.
Thank you.
And then you were running around taking pictures. And of course, your granddad was being honored as a Person of the Year. Mr. Miller Brooks, we're plugging you and your lovely wife and a great family. And I saw you with a camera. Mm-hmm. I didn't know you had a photography background, but you've taken that to a whole nother level now.
Yes, thank you.
Tell us, what is SoulPho Photography?
So SoulPho Photography initially started from my passion of being an archivist. I've always loved and enjoyed taking photos and documenting memories and being able to relive them in amazing visuals. And when I was in high school, I started taking pictures of my friends on college campus just with my phone. And from then, everyone was like, oh, let's take pictures outside. So it kind of became a hobby first, and then I pursued it later down the road as a business venture, and I've been doing it full-time since.
Outstanding. And got a chance to look at some of your photos, and people are getting a chance to look at them now as we're flashing them. But when we look at your photos, the creativity there is just amazing. It's not like it's just a standard thing.
Right.
Tell me about your thought process. The staging is just amazing.
Thank you so much. So typically, some of my clients come in with a vision in mind, and I always make it my my mission to bring their vision to life, and I want them to be able to see themselves in that vision. And when it comes to portraits that I want to do for myself, I kind of have an idea already in my mind, and I try my best to execute that. I love outdoor sessions, so I try to use nature as a prop, so using like shadows and lighting to my advantage, and just being able to encapsulate everything that's around me and put it in the vision of the photo.
Now, you mentioned your school where you used to do photography. Mm-hmm. They're seeing you on television now. Shout your school out.
So I went to Southwest Florida. Oh shoot, where did I go? FSW Collier High School. That's where I went to high school, so hey everyone who's watching. Good. And then I did early admission, so I went to FSW College for my AA, and that's where I started off at.
Now that we have a fancy photographer in here, you can help me with this. Is there a substantial difference in having a real photographer with fancy lens and all that stuff that you guys have and lighting, and then just taking a picture with your cell phone?
There is a major difference, but I feel like as long as you have that creativity and that idea in mind, you can create amazing visuals with phones too. But I do prefer a little bit fancier technology just because it makes my clients feel like they can trust me, and I feel like it produces my best work. But you know, I definitely can validate to those photographers who do start off with their phone or with less advanced equipment, because they can still create amazing work. So I don't think it just matters on the equipment you have, but if you have that vision and that eye for photography, that's what all counts.
Well, I think just the opposite.
Really?
I think the cell phone is a waste of time. I'm just old school.
I get it.
Get a real camera with all those megapixels, and I don't know how to describe it, and all of the quality that goes into it. So I know you're still sticking up for all y'all cell phoners who starts off with your cell phone. That's good that you didn't knock them out the park.
But if you can make that investment, then that's great.
Mm-hmm. What makes your work different?
What makes my work different is I take a different approach to photography. I feel like I try to use the client's soul in their photos, and that's what I want them to see and want them to shine with. Sometimes my clients come in a bit guarded and their confidence is a little low, but once they see their photos, their confidence like completely shifts. And they see themselves as how I see them, which is like luminous and powerful. And I try to give them a lot of creative approaches to turning a photo into something beautiful. And I think I shine from a lot of other photographers because I make that connection with my clients, and I want them to feel as comfortable as possible, and I want them to be able to find real good quality work without having to go somewhere like Miami or Orlando. They can find it right here in Southwest Florida.
Absolutely.
With that beautiful quality. Yeah.
SoulPho,
Yes.
that name, two-pronged question. First, how did you come up with the name SoulPho? I'm assuming it represents something. And two, you're a businesswoman now.
Right.
How did you go about transitioning to becoming a businesswoman?
So SoulPho photography, the faux part stands for photos, and the soul is I always felt like people had an inner light and an inner glow, and I wanted to project that through the photo, so I wanted to put soul in there. And I do work with a lot of Black and brown individuals, and we kind of correlate soul with the soul of our people. So that was also another thing to tie into the name. And then what was your second question again?
You're a businesswoman
Yeah,
now.
right.
How did that transition, how did you decide to start your own business?
Yeah, so I have a lot of people in my family who were business owners, like my mom, my grandparents, my father. I have a huge lineage of business owners in my family. And when I see them working and the community just being so inspired by their work, it made me think like I can be a business owner and do exactly what I love, which is photography. And I just try to make that my mission.
Talk about the editing, what that means after a photo has been taken.
Right. So each photo does require sometimes a little bit of manipulation to get it where you want it to be. I try to take in consideration what the client wants first. I ask them their needs for the photos, but the editing process is just as important, sometimes if not more, than the actual process of creating the image. The editing process can be from skin retouching, removing blemishes and imperfections, and just making the client just shine fully. So we're enhancing their beauty in some parts, and other times we're just manipulating the areas around them, like the backdrop. Sometimes digital creations come into play with like advanced Photoshop to just transform a photo completely.
Lighting, I just noticed throughout your theme, lighting and how to manipulate lighting and all of that kind of fancy stuff is pretty important, honey. You that's a big thing to you.
Right, it is. I started off with artificial lighting, so which I still use in all of my photo shoots. So those are like strobe lights, continuous lights, just light modifiers. And those help to make the clients stand out more. You can use different lightings to create different looks, like spotlight effects, to create rings around them, shadow effects, stuff like that. And I feel like I've been trying to experiment more with natural lighting too, because I was solely using artificial lighting. But natural lighting can be just as beautiful. Yeah.
How does that client and your conversation go? They come to you with an idea, you come to them with an idea, or how does all that process work, whether it's going to be indoors or outdoors and the whole gamut? Run me through that.
Right. So typically my clients, most of my clients find me through Instagram. They send me a DM or they call me, and then they explain to me their shoot and their vision and what exactly they're looking for. Sometimes they don't have a vision in mind, they just want to come and take a photo shoot. So I send them a whole bunch of different photo shoot concepts, creative, more simple, just beautiful looks that they can recreate but make it a little bit more original. And then we solidify an idea and we decide if we want them to be indoor or outdoor, so studio or some location. And if it is a location, then I scout a whole bunch of locations in Southwest Florida, Naples, everywhere, to find the perfect spot for the photo shoot. Sometimes I have to drive there, make the trips, to make sure it's perfect. I send them videos, and if they like it, then we meet up at the time that they booked, and then we do the photo shoot for an hour, sometimes longer, and then they choose their photos, and I edit them.
I've heard you several times use the word perfect.
Perfect.
That is what you strive for?
I would say I do strive for my level of perfection, which is I want my clients to be happy. I want them to feel fulfilled. I want them to feel beautiful and confident. And I want their radiance to just shine through the photos. So that is what my understanding of perfection is for my photos.
What has been some of the feedback you've gotten from some of your clients?
Feedback, I typically receive a whole bunch of positive feedback, and it's so encouraging. It really pushes me to continue working so hard. But some of the feedback I get, clients love their photos, they love how they look, they love how confident they felt in their pictures, they loved how their body looks, their skin. I've always received that my editing has been improving over time, and I've been getting so much better from when I started, so it's a lot of positive feedback.
Do you do all of that? I see like in these magazine shoots where they spray stuff on people, and do you have a makeup artist that comes with you, or you do it all yourself? How does all that work?
So I wanted to touch up on that too, because I do have, now we recently added a new member to our team. Her name is Amanda, and she is our professional in-studio makeup artist. So she'll be servicing our clients prior to their photo shoot session. But sometimes they get their makeup done from other photographers in the Southwest Florida area, and I do send out a lot of recommendations. But before the shoot, we oil them down because I like my clients to just really shine, literally. And my mom always—
Is that spraying I see them doing, or you wipe it on?
No, I use an oil gel, and it just sticks to their skin. It looks amazing. My mom always jokes that I grease them up, but I think that look is really beautiful, and she agrees that it enhances the photo and their skin also.
We're bringing up Mom. She's slowly slipping into the interview. Go ahead and call her name.
Mommy, hey, LaShawn Collier. That's my mom.
Shout the family out.
Yeah, so LaShawn Collier is my mother, and my grandparents are Gwen and James Middlebrooks, and my father is Elvis Collier.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and I have two siblings, Zion and Eden.
Right, you guys are pillars in the community, made a name for yourselves.
Thank you.
Would you describe your work as portraits?
Portraits, yes, I would consider them as portraits. I typically, the title for my work, I just call creative editorial photography or portraits. And, they're just photos of people and how I want them to, or how they want themselves to look.
Yeah, but in looking at your work, it doesn't seem like you do anything basic, like somebody won't just come in there and do a headshot.
Right.
Would you turn them away? Hey, I want to get some professional pictures done?
No, so
like you really let's go to Africa.
Yeah, so I tried.
And hang from a tree.
No, literally. So I did do one shoot with a girl in a tree, so that's funny. Yeah. So my clients, when they see my work, it kind of pushes them to dig deeper and look beyond the superficial, look beyond basic photography and create visions that not a lot of people do. So I don't really consider my work basic, but I also don't turn down those opportunities either. We do almost everything now. Headshots, we do events now. We just started our wedding and elopement, small wedding and elopement packages. Children and babies, we have another photographer, her name is Key for that. We have a birthday baddie category, which our other associate photographer, Joelle, specializes in. And I mainly do the creative editorial work. So
you're based in Fort Myers, Florida?
Yes, Fort Myers, Florida.
But you have a camera and you will travel?
Yes, I will travel anywhere that they ask me to. We have traveled in Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and so far everything's been within the Florida area, but I'm so excited to be traveling elsewhere. But I do have a camera, equipment, and we also have a studio.
How has your photography evolved over the process of you doing this in different ways?
So I feel like I kind of started off just, thinking on the surface level of photography, kind of mimicking what I saw other photographers do. And then later on, I started having my own ideas and started developing my own type of creative style. So I feel like that launched my photography to a whole different level.
Where do you see your photography going in the future?
In the future, I'm hoping to expand my team completely. I've already started, it started as a one-woman show, and now we have—
Sounds like you're really growing.
Yeah, now we have 3 beautiful, amazing, talented, and creative women on board. And in the future, I'm hoping to have more creative directors, extra photographers, editors, everything that I feel like we need to run a whole photography production. And I would love to do online photography courses to teach everyone what I I've learned over my time as a photographer, and to just kind of put that knowledge out there, because it's, the photography industry is so rich, and I want to share that with everyone.
And you did say something earlier that sort of surprised me. You are now going out covering events.
Yes. So at first, when I did start photography, I was kind of dabbling in everything, and then I wanted to kind of have a niche and narrow down what my photography wanted to be. But now, since I'm adding more people to my team, we are expanding and doing more things. So we are doing events, and we added wedding packages too.
In talking to you, I noticed you didn't mention money. You say, hey, I'll travel here, I'll travel there. I know people have all that get baked into cost.
Right.
How would you describe yourself in terms of your cost to do business compared to other similar photography companies? You right there with them, or because you're more elaborate or more exotic or just such a great, you might be a little more expensive, or what? How would you go with that?
So I try to find the perfect medium of what my skills I feel like are worth, what our time is worth, and how much time and energy and money and investments we put into my business, but also create a price that is fair enough for my clients to build a clientele. So that's initially what I started doing, just creating a fair enough price. But now as we elevate, as we grow, it does go up. But I think I may be a little bit more expensive than average photographers or regular photographers, just because I do provide a lot more. But I feel like I'm worth the price that I put.
You pay for what you get.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to pay for the quality, and you're going to get it.
As we're wrapping this up, earlier on, you're in the Enterprise Center, right?
Yes.
Southwest Florida
Enterprise Center, yes.
You got a phone number, website?
Yes, so you can find me at SoulPho at gmail.com if you want to reach out to me, or just Google me at SoulPho Photography and you'll see me there. Okay.
You mentioned early on that you find yourself doing a lot of work for people of color, but everybody. Go.
Everybody. So I love diversity, and I also love bringing people's cultures and their ethnic background into their photo shoot as well, and into the concept of their photo shoot if they allow me to. But I would love to just kind of touch everyone and reach everyone. I do mainly receive women of color, people of color, but I'd love to work with everybody. I love finding the beauty in every single skin tone and every ethnic background. So we're open for everyone. Yeah.
In the long run, Ava,
right,
and your company, 10 years from now, when we see that company, SoulPho Photography, what are we gonna see?
What I hope you can see is just a collective group of creative and inspiring individuals who have a passion for working with people and for seeing the beauty and the light within them and having that shine through their photos.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And stay right there. As the saying goes on this particular show, but those who say it can't be done is usually interrupted by those like Ava and her fine company. And remember, Miami may have the oranges, but SoulPho Photography has got the
juice.
They got the juice. We'll see.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello everybody, this is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show, and if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime, and also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.